everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm talking about all the books that I read in July. I had a really good reading month and I'm excited to share with you all that I read. So I started off the month reading The Labors of Hercules by Agatha Christie. Well, finishing it because I had been reading it for a while. And this is a Hercule Poirot mystery. And I have to say it was not one of my favorites. I love Agatha Christie and especially her Hercule Poirot series. This one, however, was a bit different. So in it, he has decided that he's going to retire and he's only going to take 12 more cases, and each of those cases is going to correspond with one of the labors of Hercules. So in this book, each chapter is actually a different case, a different mystery, and then it gets solved at the end of each chapter. Unfortunately for me, I felt like the rhythm was completely off. I would start getting into kind of the mystery that they were telling and understand who the characters were and kind of be thinking about who it might be in my head, and then the mystery would end and we'd have to start all over again, and it just threw me off. I didn't like it. Yeah, the rhythm was all wrong for me, and it just really didn't capture my attention like it should have. So this was a 3-star read. It was still good. It was still Agatha Christie. I mean, obviously she's an amazing mystery writer. But yeah, definitely not one of her bests. Next up, I read this, The Essential Calvin and Hobbes, which is just a collection of Calvin and Hobbes comic strips, and I had never read them before, and they were so cute. My friend lent this to me because there's another book here on my TBR shelf called Calvin that she wants me to read, but she said that I had to read this first. So I finished this really quickly. Obviously it's comic strips, so it doesn't take long to read. And it's just so cute. I mean, Calvin and Hobbes are freaking adorable. And yeah, I just loved it. So I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I mean, is there anything more to say? It's just so cute. The next book that I read was my first 5-star read of the month. And this book is amazing. It's called The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. So in this book, it is based basically in like a really, really distant future Earth, or possibly another Earth, and in it they have seasons, but it's not like summer, fall, spring, winter. When there's a season, basically that means that there has been an apocalyptic style natural disaster and lots of people are dead, and now they have to live through this season and try to rebuild. And so they're like all preppers, basically. They all have store caches of food in all of the villages, and they are always trying to be prepared for whatever might come next, because there's always a natural disaster right around the corner. And then there are these people within this society that have the ability to control the earth, so they can either create an earthquake or stop an earthquake, create a tsunami, stop a tsunami, etc. And those people are called origines or rogas, depending on who you talk to. And they are treated with a lot of disrespect and hatred. And there's this place in one of the biggest cities, kind of like the capital city of this country, you might say, where they take these rogas and train them to control their powers so that they don't kill people. But if you are found out to be one of these rogas in like a village or something, a lot of times they will kill you. So these people are hated by everyone, and they're kind of like prisoners. They're sent out on missions and they have to do what this place says, and there are these people called guardians that can kind of stop the rogas from being able to use their powers. And they will kill you if you get out of line. So this book was absolutely amazing. It's definitely an adult book. It deals with some pretty heavy topics, and but it doesn't read super heavy, so it's still like fun, but it does definitely deal with some heavy topics, and I loved this. I am so excited to read the rest in this series. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It was amazing. Everyone should read this book. Next up, I read the third book in the 100 series, which is called Homecoming by Cass Morgan, and obviously I can't really tell you much about this book because it is the third in the series, but I did enjoy this. I think they keep getting a little bit better with each book, so that's always good. You know, there's still some things that bug me with relationships, and sometimes there's situations that they're in kind of get worked out really easily, but they have had to choose and deal with some harder things in this book, so I really liked it a lot more than even the first two. I still prefer the TV show, but these are really good, and I will, of course, finish off the series with the fourth book in the next month. So yeah, I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. Obviously, it's still a good read, just not as good as I was expecting when I watched the TV show. Okay, book number 5 that I read was kind of my self-help type book for the month, and that was Big Magic, Creative Living Beyond Fear by Elizabeth Gilbert. And this book started out really strong for me, and then towards the middle it kind of got a bit repetitive, and then the end picked up again. So I did really enjoy this. I thought she had some really interesting takes on creativity, and I really liked how she kind of emphasized in this book that to live a creative life doesn't mean you have to go and quit your job and, you know, try and live off of whatever you feel creatively. It just means that you are doing things that fulfill you and make you happy. And so I did really like that about this and about her kind of philosophy. And she had some good advice, and I did really enjoy it, so it was a 4 out of 5 for me. Okay, last but definitely not least, this was my favorite read of the month, and I was so skeptical going into it because I don't read a lot of contemporary or romance. It just doesn't usually capture my attention. This book was so good, and that was Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. Yeah, this book is so precious. I loved it so much. It's definitely one I'm going to be buying and rereading many a time over. I loved the main character, Kath, and her social anxiety, because I feel a lot of that as well, and so I could totally relate to her wanting to stay in her room and read her books or write her fan fiction and not converse with anybody. So I just really loved it, and I loved that this book, which had a super cute love story in it, didn't just focus on her and the boy that she falls in love with, but it's also about her and her sister and her dad and her mom and her roommate and just all of these different relationships within this book. And it's also about her dealing with going off to college and dealing with classes and finding out what she wants to do. And so I just loved it. It was so cute. Everybody, and I just mean everybody, needs a Levi in their life because he is so adorable. I loved him so much. Anyways, yeah, you should read this book if you want something happy and fun and cute that will just lift your spirits, because that's what it did for me. It was a 5 out of 5. It was adorable. I loved it. That's all the books that I read this month. If you didn't keep count, that was 6 books, which brings my total up to 37 for the year. Of course, I'm trying to get to 100, and I'm pretty far behind, but I think I can do it. I've got all of my to-be-read books up here. I'm very excited for this year of reading, and it's been so much fun, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, And don't forget to subscribe. Also, let me know in the comments below what book was your favorite read of July, and maybe I'll pick it up next month. See ya!